And hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? What the heck happened to the background? There's the background. There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the week ahead. Hope you all had yourselves a good weekend. Hope you all had a good start to your week. Josh, how was your day today? How you doing?
Amazing day, amazing start to the week. Happy Monday, everybody. Hello, everybody in the chat. Happy to be here with you guys. Start talking baseball. How about you, Robbie? What's going on? How was your day? How was Monday?
Man, I feel like I have been nonstop complaining about school, and that will be over in 2 more days. Oh my God, I can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are almost at summer vacation. I can't wait. Man, it's been a long year. It's been a tiring year, and I'm just ready to get into this summer. Just getting into everything baseball. So, but yeah, last night I revealed to everyone in the power rankings, which everyone, thank you for stopping by. We got to around 350 people in the power rankings last night. So once again, the power rankings continue to be a success on this channel. So everyone, thank you for coming out to that. But I talked last night about that I am now signed on with the Believe Network. I will be the new host of the Red Sox podcast. So we're still waiting to see who that player will be, the former Red Sox player who that will be co-hosting with me. That's kind of their shtick, where they actually, believe it or not, Josh, I was just talking with the guy today, one of the head producers. He was talking to me today. He's like, they got a few guys for the Yankees podcast that they're starting off with. So, but yeah, he couldn't really tell me the names exactly. He can't even really tell me. He'll give me a couple, but I can't really say it out loud just because, can't really do that. But yeah, they're getting a Yankees one together too. They're looking at Cubs, Dodgers. I mean, they're really going full force with trying to get the MLB podcasts put together. They have a lot of NFL, a lot of NBA. They're trying to up their Major League Baseball podcast. So they do have a few. They got the Padres with Heath Bell, which is, hey, Heath Bell, he was a really good reliever at one point in the major leagues. So really excited about that opportunity. I can't wait to do it. But for now, I'm excited to do the show tonight. So we are gaining a few people here in the chat. Got around 30 people in here in the chat. So before we do get started, everyone, just a reminder, we do have partnerships with SeatGeek. $20 off your first purchase using my code HYDE. Also, check out Prize Picks. Play some over-unders if you're tired of playing against people in FanDuel and DraftKings. Use my code GINGER. They'll give you a 100% deposit match. So before we do get to the week ahead, where we look at some of our favorite matchups, as well as looking at some players that we're going to keep an eye out for, we're going to get into the news. There was one story today that is gaining the headlines. There's always, that's what I like about this show on a Monday night. There's always one thing to talk about at least every Monday so far. We've had one little thing to kind of sink our teeth into. Last week was Xander Bogaerts, and not the fun trade stuff that we all like to talk about. We got some people, I guess, maybe saying some mean words out there, and some other people don't really like it very much. Josh Donaldson suspended for 1 game over his comments to Tim Anderson. So let's kind of just dive into this. Josh, I'll let you kind of take it. Obviously this is your team, so we know Josh Donaldson got into it yesterday with Yasmani Grandal there was a bit of a hard tag supposedly in a series prior, and there were some comments made from Josh Donaldson to Tim Anderson. So Josh, I'll let you go from there.
No, real quick, I'll touch on you just brought up Xander Bogaerts. Apparently they were listening to our show last week because they really had a hell of a week. They really turned it on because they were like, oh, we're trading people? I think we're going to turn it on and have a good week.
Oh, man. You should have seen me yesterday. I was running around my pants off on that grand slam. Frankie Cordero had an absolute just piss missile out into the freaking bleachers.
Where the heck did he come from? Man, I haven't heard of that guy.
He came back in the Andrew Benintendi trade.
Yeah,
And
no, I know, but I'm just saying it's like he hasn't had any playing time in a
I know,
long time.
Yeah, he has not really found his footing at all. Like, he's always had that potential. He's always had that raw ability. I remember when he was young, you would read some of the scouting reports from him, power, speed, and then but he was just getting hurt. So he just never really found his footing. He was with the Padres, just never really got it going. But, Heim Bloom saw something in him. And if the only thing we ever get was a walk-off grand slam from Frankie Cordero, hey, you know what? I'll take it. What would you rather have? Walk-off grand slam for Frankie Cordero or solid season from Andrew Benintendi? Yeah, already making myself wanting to cry. So anyway, it was still a great win yesterday. Good week.
I'll go over what you asked me about. So
let's get into that. Let's get into it.
So I mean, obviously the last time they were playing in Chicago, tempers kind of flared. They had that tag, that hard baseball play, as Donaldson said, at third base, where Anderson was diving back to third, and Donaldson basically blocked the plate and shoved him off of third base. Umpire there at third base at the time jumped right in the middle and said, hey, it was a push. You pushed him off of third.
Right.
And kind of diffused that. But there was a lot of jawing back and forth in that series. Saw it a couple times. There was also a hard slide that Donaldson made into second base when Anderson was turning a double play. So not off to a great start in that series so far this year.
Yeah,
a lot of back and forth. But Donaldson, that's the player he is. He's not out there really making friends.
Yeah.
If he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you hate him. I know that because before this year, I wasn't really a fan of him. I wasn't a fan of him because I liked what he did on the field, but I wasn't a fan of him, the person. So I get it.
And there was always that thing too. He's always going to a different team. You kind of wondered, like, why can't this guy just stay in like one place, for a little while? But anyway, go on.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too. But he's just one of these guys. He's like a hard-nosed guy. Doesn't give a crap about whatever's going on. He plays the game hard, and if you like it, great. If you don't, then he doesn't really give a crap. So that's Donaldson in a nutshell. But anyway, going into this weekend, kind of wondered, like, hey, just played a couple days ago, a little bit of a chippy series then in Chicago, and then they came, into New York, and they had that again, incident where he basically called him Jackie as they were jogging off the field. There was a couple times where they were jawing back and forth at each other again.
Yeah.
And he, right after the series, they were talking about what was going on, but they had the incident also. What really set it off was the incident at home plate with Grandal as Donaldson was coming up.
And Grandal was the one to really kind of start things,
Well, yeah. I mean, Donaldson didn't say anything as they were coming up to bat, and Donaldson after the game was basically, he had said that he wasn't sure even what Grandal was talking about. Grandal was like, hey, we heard what you were saying to Tim Anderson, and we don't like it. We're not a fan of it. That was when Donaldson's like, what the heck are you guys talking about? And he kind of played it off like, hey, this was something that they had talked about back in 2019 when Tim Anderson, was in that article where he said he's trying to be the Jackie Robinson of baseball, where he's trying to make baseball fun, because baseball is very uptight. For a long time, baseball is very serious. Baseball is very by the rules. There's not a lot of showboating. There's not a lot of celebrating. And Anderson wanted to turn baseball around and be the Jackie Robinson of baseball and have some fun in the game. And that's what Donaldson was referring to. Like, Jackie, whatever. I just think, and here's, I'll let you go on this, but Anderson and Donaldson are not friends. Like, you can obviously see that they don't
played together in the league for a while together. They've seen each other.
Yeah. They played in the division. Like, Donaldson played in the Central for a while. Donaldson's always been in the American League, except for, when he was with Atlanta for that season. But, they've played against each other for a while, and they're not friends. You could just tell they're just not friends.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird, like, if you know somebody like, hey, I don't like you. And I'm going to bring this up because I think if nobody in the chat has checked out the Joe's McFly video on this, it's an awesome 11-minute video on as the whole situation kind of breaks it down a little bit further. But if you have an issue with somebody, and somebody's joking around with you, you're not going to take that the same way. You know,
Right.
you may say something to me, Robbie, you're my friend, but if someone's saying something to me that I'm not a fan of, I'm going to take it some kind of a way. Like, what the hell do you mean by that? Like, what are you trying to say? So
if one of Tim Anderson's teammates, if one of Tim Anderson's teammates said it to him, it's completely different, you know, whereas someone you don't really know very much, you know, and to me, I personally think Donaldson said it to try and get under the skin a little bit. I think he knew what he was doing. I don't think he was, you know, and the hot button word, the dreaded R word these days. No, it was not a racial comment. And anyone that says it is, I'm sorry, but like even guys like Stephen A. Smith out there on ESPN is saying that he doesn't even think it was a racial comment. So if someone like Stephen A. Smith on a garbage organization of ESPN, you know, with Disney and whatever is saying that, then come on. We all have to kind of, you know, reach a middle ground here and agree. Because I'm still seeing people on Twitter like, no, that was a racial comment. How could he say that? It was awful. But you can't be doing that. Because it can't be saying that about it because it wasn't a racially filled comment. I think he was just trying to get under his skin and I'll be honest with you, I remember when those comments were made. I understand what Tim Anderson was trying to say about the whole, like, I want to bring some fun to the game. I want to, you know, bring that energy to the game, the bat flips, you know, the passion, you know, but come on, like sitting here and saying like, I'm the modern day Jackie Robinson. It's just a vain comment. In my opinion. It's just like, you're not, you know, you're the modern day Tim Anderson. You're not the modern day Jackie Robinson. No one is the modern day Jackie Robinson. What that guy did, you know, years ago was extraordinary, you know, and no one should ever be comparing themselves to him. And to me, it was just a vain comment back in 2019 that he made. I get what he was trying to say. I just think it was a little self-centered in my personal opinion. But where I have a problem is where I kind of lost my train of thought there with go on. I can't remember what I was going to say. What were you going to say next?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, and there's a lot of comments in the chat exactly with the next point I was going to bring up. I mean, I don't think Tim Anderson was really making it a racy thing, like a racial thing. I think La Russa 100% turned it into like it's a race thing.
And then all of a sudden, right, some of these people forget that this is the same guy that everyone hated Tony La Russa last year with the whole "you're mean Mercedes" thing. And now everyone's like, or at least not everyone, but some people, those same people that were like, oh my God, how could he do that to your mean Mercedes? And now they're like, yeah, Tony La Russa. It's like, oh my God, these people, I swear. Anyway, go on.
No, I was just going to say that, you know, La Russa got into it and he was the one, he made it sound, when I heard La Russa's thing, I thought like, you know, racial slurs were being said, like Donaldson maybe said something like that. And I was like, oh, damn, like, okay, I get it. But then when I found out what he said, like Jackie, it's like, come on, like La Russa's putting gasoline on the fire there and like stoking it on. It's like, that's not what it was. And like making it into a bigger thing that it was. And that's where that whole race thing kind of came from.
Right.
But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think it was something that was a racially charged comment. No, I don't want to get too far into it because I think it was something that was bigger than what it was. I just think at the end of the day, when you got a problem with somebody, and like exactly what you said, that was another great comment. Like he was just trying to get under the skin. He was just trying to start. You know? He was just trying to start things. And that's just him being that kind of like, like asshole kind of player. Like, you know, being that guy who's like, hey, that's who I am. That's who Donaldson is. Sorry for the language, but that's like the kind of player that he is. And
that's you know, and coming from, you know, I wasn't the best baseball player on the planet. You witnessed my retirement from the game of baseball, serving up a walk-off home run in a club baseball game. Still haunts me in my dreams. But guys on the baseball field, you know, there are times when, you know, when I was in high school, we played, you know, some teams, you know, a couple of different times, and you got chippy because it's just baseball. It's competitive. Guys are out there. They're trying to play head games with you. It's just how it is. You know, the guy that was on deck that hit the walk-off home run. If I get a home run off this guy, I'm just gonna end it. Yeah. And it's like, but he said it loud enough to where he wanted me to hear it. It's like guys out there are playing head games. Josh Donaldson is always someone that wants to try and get under your skin. He's always done that. And it's like everyone all of a sudden just forgets that's just who he is. And it's like, because the dreaded R word has to get thrown around. And it's like people get triggered with this because it's all these, no one would be saying anything if ESPN didn't start throwing it out there. The Athletic started throwing it out there. Kim Rosenthal and his bow ties throwing it out there. Whoever the heck was throwing it out there. No one would be saying anything about it. And it's like, I don't know, but I don't know. I just think the media definitely pushes it a bit. But yeah, you know, I also think too, I think when it comes to the actual suspension, I think Major League Baseball, I've seen people on Twitter like, it's one game. Just take, you know, just do the one game and move on. It's like, people don't seem to really understand. It's one game. Yeah, you can go sit on the bench for a game. They'll probably end up winning it and whatever. It's the principle of it. It's just, and that's why he appealed it automatically right away. It's like,
I mean, let's just talk about it money wise. I mean, we're talking about it money wise.
And then, you're losing money too.
Donaldson makes, let's just say, I mean, a round number. Donaldson makes $24 million this year. $24 million over 162 games. He's basically losing out on $150,000.
Right, and then you always have the people like, oh, he's making millions of dollars. What's that going to do? It's chump change. All right, you go out there. Let's see what you say when you're making, you know, let's have you go make $10 million and let's see you saying the same thing. Oh yeah, it's just whatever. $100,000. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't be saying that. Anyway.
I get it. I don't get the suspension. I would get a fine or like a, you know,
right. You know, like, or just like, you know what I would have done? I would have made it a productive thing. I would have, instead of doing a suspension and now making Donaldson, like, you're just basically making him look like the bad guy in the situation, which granted, he did not have to say anything. He didn't have to make the comment. I personally think he should have just gone about his business and just focused on the team, you know, and that's where I could see Aaron Boone being like, what are you doing? Like, why are you getting involved in this? Like, because he said, though, I forget how he worded it exactly. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, that's kind of territory you shouldn't really be going into, where I can agree with that. It's like, why are you even, you know, it's been going on with him for years now, but why are you even trying to start anything? It's like, what are you doing? So I can agree to that aspect, but I think Major League Baseball, instead of doing a suspension for one game, you could have had the guys have a conversation. Everyone knows how to use Zoom now. So if they're not close by together, which obviously, you know, I mean, you could have just done it after the game. You could have just had them have a conversation about it, you know, and that's it. And that was another thing I brought up yesterday during Power Rankings. If Donaldson had an issue, which I guess he did. I didn't really read too much into it about his thoughts on the whole thing. But if he really did have a problem, he could have spoken to Tim Anderson about it. Hey, man, you know, listen, I don't like these. I don't like the comments that you made. You know, whatever. Well, maybe it wasn't a comfortable conversation for him to have. But I think Major League Baseball, instead of doing a suspension, we could have used this as an opportunity to promote conversation where you can, instead of just having to, all right, suspended, you know, punished, you know, you can now be the face of productivity, and you can be like, you know what, instead of doing a suspension, let's just go about this in a way where two men can just sit down and talk about it. You know, they had a conversation about it. There's been a few instances of that. I guess there was another incident. I forget what teams. I guess there was I think it was like a coach on it was like a third base coach or first base coach or something. I forget what teams. iTalk Studios did a video on it. I can't remember. I think it was someone with the Giants and then another coach with someone else. I don't remember. But I guess that one guy accused him of saying something, you know, like a racial comment to him. And instead of, you know, having to go to Major League Baseball and whatever, they ended up having a conversation after the game or before the game. The media were there. You know, they didn't really cover it a whole bunch. Well, why didn't the media cover it? Because they ended up finding a solution to the whole thing without any dramatics. And so, but no, media doesn't want to cover that. But they ended up being just a complete misunderstanding. And you could have done that with these two players. That's what I think should have been done. You could have really done something really good here. And instead, now it's just a suspension. So
Well, Donaldson said after the fact that he's open to talking to Anderson about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. Like, here's the thing: we don't know what happened. We don't know if they met. We don't know what happened. Donaldson was open to meeting with Anderson. I think Anderson, obviously with all the stuff going on this year, he has the right. Like, it again goes back to the thing. Like, he doesn't want to talk with Donaldson. Donaldson wants to keep chirping, and we had some funny comments in the chat. My wife keeps chirping by Don, and my wife chirps all the time. And then Brendan, like, forget it. The things that were said in the 90s and early 2000s, these people would roll in their graves, and, wouldn't be able to stand it. Their heads would pop. But
we had a great comment earlier.
Like, hey, you have a problem with somebody, talk about it. You guys are grown men. It's like, come on. I don't have any problem with them meeting. Did they meet? Probably not. Will they meet? Probably not. I think the suspension is overboard. I think a fine would have been a maximum on it, and I think leave it at that. But Donaldson was going. There's some things with the Yankees going on right now. We saw this series. You got some guys out with COVID. Higgy's out. Gallo's out. Donaldson, interestingly enough, is also on the COVID IL right now. So if he comes back from that, that's when that 1-game suspension is going to come. But as this team was getting super, super hot, some of these guys are starting to drop off now, and it's interesting to see what they're going to be doing here in the next week. So
look at those Orioles. Aaron Judge tonight off to another hot start tonight, but look at those pesky Orioles winning a couple of walk-off games this past weekend against the Reyes. We've been saying this. Yeah, they're not going to be a team that's in the playoffs this year, but they're a pesky team. They're the Tigers.
Yeah,
they're the Tigers of last year, and I'm not surprised because they have some decent players there. Before we do move on, Josh, we have a question from Don Keedick. Is your beard fake? And Bhavik Patel actually thinks it has to be. And then Don says, yeah, that beard looks fake. And I came in and I said, listen, it's very real, very real. And then Brendan DH, a great subscriber, a member of the channel, says it's too pretty to be fake. So Josh, whatever you're doing with the beard, please keep it up.
I appreciate it, guys. I wasn't sure if they were talking about mine, if they were talking about yours. I saw that kind of going back.
I thought maybe it was me, but no, yours is way more magnificent and luscious than mine. No. Mine is
it's real. I'm bald. I don't know if you guys I wear a hat here and there on the show, but I have no hair. This is the only hair I'm able to grow.
No one on this channel has ever seen my head.
So yeah.
No one has now everyone knows now you're bald. So but that's a good thing. Bald is beautiful, but no one will ever know what my head looks like on this, at least on this channel. So you have to go elsewhere to figure out what my head looks like. So anyway, let's move on here. Let's kind of dive into some other news before we do get to the week ahead. Don Keedick saying here, Brian Wilson beard. Oh my God. Brian Wilson was like my favorite player at one point. Those early 2010s, he was my favorite. Oh my God. He was so funny. I love Brian Wilson, man. He was at the.
Did you see Brian Wilson now when he was throwing out that he
looks like a surfer guy. Like
what the hell?
Long
happened?
hair. He doesn't even look like the same guy.
Who is that? I remember when they brought him out. I'm like, they were like Brian Wilson, and real quick in my head, I'm like, it didn't register at first, and I'm saying, Brian Wilson, and then I looked at him. I'm like, holy crap, he doesn't have a beard.
It's crazy.
He's got long, scraggly,
10 years later,
surfer hair.
Yeah. Anyway,
what the heck?
But a guy that was dominating this week, just like Brian Wilson would dominate in the past, Trevor Story this week, absolutely out of his mind. And yes, absolutely deserved player of the week. This guy was just incredibly crazy this week. And Sandy Alcantara, he was really good as well. Let's pull up here some stats. Let's take a look here. Let's share the screen. Hold on. Let's hide that.
The pronunciation snobs on this channel were going crazy at you over the last couple of years with your pronunciation with Sandy. I'm glad that you got that last name down pat.
How did I used to say it?
I think you used to say Alcantara.
Really? I've pronounced some names like pretty badly. My favorite pronunciation is Brandon Lau, where I would say Brandon Lowe, and everyone's like, it's Lau. How could you do this? I'm like, I grew up watching Derek Lowe with the Red Sox, same exact name. It's like, listen, I teach hooked on phonics to second graders. It's like, listen, I know my sounds. I'm so sick of all these names that look one way, but they sound different. And it's like, you know what? That's not my problem. I'm following the freaking U.S. alphabet and the correct sounds. Okay, I'm teaching phonics over here. Whatever. Brandon Lau, give me a break. Should be Brandon Lowe. Anyway, I think he's hurt. Actually, is he hurt?
Yeah,
Brandon Lau?
he is.
Oh,
he is.
Man, he was really good last year.
He's got the back. Hey, welcome to the back club, buddy. I know.
Welcome to the bad back club. So, my back's been a little tight today, but anyway, let's move on.
Oh, wait. Yeah, Trevor Story. Trevor Story's back is fine. He's doing great.
Yes, Trevor Story is absolutely. What am I even doing right now? I'm looking for the share button. Jesus, I got to go to bed. Share the screen. Here we go. Taking a look. Trevor Story last week leading the league in Fangraph WAR. Look at that 7.9 offense. He had 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, hit 360, a 452 on base, and 1120 slugging. Out of his mind. And taking a look at Sandy, what was it? Alcantara? I think I said that right. Sandy Alcantara. Yeah. 2 wins this past week. 17 innings combined over those 2 starts. 0.53 ERA. Just Sandy, I mean, good grief. And you know, it feels nice for a pitcher, because we've been looking at some of these pitchers lately that have been getting, you know, player of the week. And not a lot. Fangraphs, they rate pitchers a little differently than Baseball Reference. So with when it comes to like Cy Young voting and whatnot, you should pay attention to Baseball Reference, because that's basically what the voters go off of. Fangraphs, they focus a little bit more on projections. So, but it feels nice to see someone at the top here getting pitcher of the week. You know, there were a couple of guys. Johnny Cueto, I think, could have been a guy that, with Trevor Story, there was no way that Cueto was going to get it. But if you were to have a pitcher of the week for the American League, I mean, you could definitely consider Cueto. You know, 2 starts, 6 innings, no runs allowed. You know, John Gray, the ERA was high, but look at that FIP, 1.81. Brady Singer had a really good start this past weekend. He went 7 innings. So, but I think the 2 guys, I think they picked the right guys for the American League and the National League. So, really quick, before we do move into the week ahead, I always like to just take a dabble in the power rankings. And, you know what? Actually, before I do get to the power rankings, we do have one more story, just to not a big one, but just, you know, figured it was worth showing. MLB.com has updated their top 100 prospects. They have now put Adley Rutschman, who just made his debut this past weekend. He is back in the number 1 spot on the top 100 prospects list. Let's pull that up here. And let's just take a quick look. I'm not going to dive into it, you know, in depth, but I figured we can just kind of take a dabble. I always enjoy when they update it. So, you know, you don't got guys now like Julio Rodriguez, Bobby Wick Jr., Spencer Torkelson are not here. I would imagine Rutschman is here to stay in the major leagues. I don't see them sending him down. So I do think eventually he will come off this, probably by the All-Star break, I would think. But that leaves some other guys here. We got Riley Green. Grayson Rodriguez is a guy we're all still waiting for in Baltimore. Gabriel Moreno. Actually, how is Mr. Gabriel Moreno doing so far? Having a good season in AAA. Yeah, 347, a 407 on base. Only a home run so far, but the thing with Gabriel Moreno, it's not just his ability to hit, but he's got a good arm out there. He's good on defense as well. Look at Anthony Volpe here. They moved him up to number 5. Let's take a look at him. Oh, brother, only hitting 197 right now. What the heck? Hey, everyone was you remember this as, you know, Yankee fan? All the Yankee fans were like, oh my God, Anthony Volpe. He's the next Derek Jeter. And it's, hey, I'm sure he will end up being fine, but you know, look what's going on here. He's not having the season that he was having. So Yankee fans, gotta stop putting your eggs in one basket. Anyway, CJ Abrams, he went back down recently. He's at number 6. Francisco Alvarez, this guy's been hitting tater tots down in the minors. He's got 4 home runs so far, but some of those home runs have just been tank shots. This guy is just a beefy dude. And we got Marco Luciano in at number 8. Noel V Marte, you don't really hear a lot about him. He is further away than some of these other guys on the Mariners that have come up, but he is right now in the top 10. And look at Marcelo Mayer. Look at that, making the top 10. And he's actually off to a really good start in A-ball. He's hitting .333. He's got a home run, 13 RBIs, .507 slugging. So, man, oh, man. Excited about Marcelo Mayer, seeing some other guys. Corbin Carroll's having a good season. Tristan Cassis, look at him coming in at number 14. They got Jack Leiter at number 15. How is Jack Leiter doing? Oof. This guy's getting hit really hard in the minors right now. 6.38 ERA. Oh, my God. But yeah, seeing some familiar names. Alec Thomas is still here. He was recently called up. He's actually one of the top rookies right now in the game. So I won't go too deep into this, but looking at the top 10, there were some changes. Guys have moved up, and Adley Rutschman back in the number 1 spot. So go check that out if you are interested in checking out the updated list of the top prospects. We have a super chat coming in from Tom Amiano. Tom, every Monday night, you are just coming through with the support. Here we go. Tom, best night of the week when the boys are on the stream. Man, oh man. You know, I feel like I've been hearing that, you know, the boys. Who started that? Was that I think Barstool, right? They made that like a pretty popular term, like Saturdays are for the boys, kind of a thing. Oh man.
Tom, buddy, well, we love having you here, and thanks so much for the support always. Every
Mondays are for the boys.
Great questions coming through, great support. We appreciate you you tuning in every Monday and watching us. Thanks.
Yeah, Tom, man, you're awesome, man. Here every week.
MVP.
Absolutely appreciate it, man. And actually, just really quick, I just wanted to point out a chair is here. I'm huge on CJ Abrams. He will be a star. Gotta love the chair's opinion. So here we go. And really quick, before we do move into our series that we're going to be looking out for, as well as some players, do just want to take a look. I always like to look at the power rankings for MLB.com as well as Fangraphs. And I mean, of course, my power rankings are the best in the land. So let's see if MLB.com and Fangraphs can match mine. So
Fangraphs better step it up, because last week was an absolute joke.
I will say, actually, really quick, how are we doing here? We had a perfect game in Washington, Rogers. So I guess they blew it. Wait, what?
Rogers, baby, 10-0.
I know, 10-0. Orioles still hanging on tough, 5-4. Phillies up 7-1. We got a NLCS preview. Pirates and the Rockies. Pirates up 2-1. Cubs up 7-3. Hey, don't forget that Field of Dreams game should be coming up soon with I think the Cubs and the Reds. And hey, Blue Jays Cardinals. Hey, that's the World Series this year. So nice to see those two guys giving you a preview, and no one even realizes that's a World Series preview this year. So, but we got some other games warming up at the moment on the West Coast. But Guardians up 2-0. Blue Jays Cardinals. That's actually a pretty good game right now. 1-1, top 7. Twins up 4-3, going into the bottom of the 6th. But hey, some pretty decent baseball. Let's take a look here at the power rankings. So I had the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Astros, and the Brewers as my top 5. So they're sticking with the Yankees at number 1. At number 2, they have the Dodgers. I have the Mets at number 2. So they decided they keep sticking with the Dodgers in this one of these higher spots. I dropped the Dodgers to number 5 last week because they were just not having a good week that week prior. So, but I moved the Dodgers back up to number 3. Oh, wow. They have the Astros at number 3. Okay. So they've dropped the Mets down to number 4. Okay. I mean, the Mets didn't have a bad week at all. So, and the Astros lost the series to my Red Sox. So I'm not really understanding the justification on that. The Astros won a series and lost a series, but the Mets won both of their series. So, okay, I guess. And they have the Brewers at number 5. So we agree on the top 5. Josh, what do you think about the top 5?
I like it. I mean, right now, you got to stick with the Yankees right now at number 1 just because they have the best record in baseball.
Right.
Interesting to see what's going to go on this week. Again, I mentioned a couple minutes ago, they've got a lot of injuries. COVID's going around in the clubhouse. Some key guys are out. Higgy, Gallo, now Donaldson. So interesting week. Again, they're playing. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, but they're playing the Orioles, I feel like, for the 15th time this year. And interesting series with them. And then they're heading over to Tampa. And they got a nice little week ahead for them. So we'll end up seeing what's going on with them. But
what are you thinking at Dodgers at number 2?
I like the Dodgers. To me, like I said last week, again, 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can have it kind of any way.
Right.
And I think it's good. I understand them putting – I probably would have had it Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Astros.
Yeah.
But I see that they have it flipped, obviously. I mean – either way, I want to take a shout out real quick. I love those friggin' hats. I love those.
I do love those hats.
Yeah,
they're very nice hats. Very nice.
Playing those are the Armed Forces hats. I love it. If you guys take a look at the symbol here, it actually has like the American flag kind of in like camo.
Yeah.
Like in the logo. Awesome hat. I'm gonna end up picking up one of those.
Yeah, very good.
But anyway, the top 4 could be switched around in any way, and I would be fine with it. I don't mind it. The Brewers in number 5, they're really coming on strong. Good for them. They're in another one of the series we're going to be talking about here in the next couple minutes. But I'm fine with it.
And look at that. Best start in their franchise history through 40 games. Rounding out their top 10, they had the Padres, Angels, Reyes, Twins, and the Giants. All right, that's actually pretty similar. Their top 10 is very similar to mine. I had the Padres at number 6. I had the Angels at number 7. I think I had the Twins at 8, the Rays at 9, and I have the Giants at 10. It's just I'm surprised that because usually they've dumped the Giants out of their top 10, and they decided to keep them here. But the Blue Jays, Cardinals, they're coming on strong. I had the Cardinals at number 11. They're my team knocking on the door. And then they put the Red Sox at 15. I did not want to put the Red Sox in the top 15 just yet. I put them at number 16, and I need the Red Sox to keep playing some good baseball. Honestly, this day off kind of scares me a little bit because it's like, we got all this momentum, and now you got a day off, and so hopefully they can keep it going. So I have to wait and see. They're playing great baseball. But let's check out Fangraphs. All righty. So they have – all right. Remember, they had the Angels, I think, at number 3 last week, I believe, if my memory serves me right. So they have the Yankees. They have the Astros at number 2. Okay. They got the Mets at number 3. They got the Dodgers at number 4. So like you said, you can make an argument for who you like. They go off the numbers as well. So I won't really – a lot of it, yes, it is a bit of philosophy mixed in there. But they do really go off of their numbers as well. So with the top 4, Yankees, Astros, Mets, Dodgers. Coming in next, we have the Angels, Brewers, Twins, Padres, and the Cardinals. Okay, so they're feeling a little better about the Cardinals than some other people here. And then in tier number 3, they got the Rays, the Giants, the Marlins, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, and they're still really hanging on to this Guardians team. And hey, I'm all about it. I'm waiting for the Guardians to get hot. I'm just waiting for it. Shane Bieber looked really good yesterday. He had a loss, but he looked really good through 7 innings. And then we got the melee in tier 4. Red Sox making it into the melee, and then White Sox as well. Braves, Diamondbacks are kind of just hanging around. They still have the Cubs here. Why? Why do they have the Cubs here? They're 8 games under 500. I mean, I guess, and the Mariners, I think they're going to turn it around eventually. But, oh, my God, this Mariners team, they've really – hopefully this is their worst baseball for the year, and they just can start winning some games. But I don't know. But that's what we're looking at with Fangraphs. I would say a little more reasonable this week. What do you think?
No. Robbie, they got so many teams. I mean, like the Yankees, Astros, Mets, Dodgers. Okay, 1 through 4 again. Like, okay, that's the 4. That's the top 4 right now. They lose me not so much with the top 4. They lose me with like everything else outside of the top 4.
Yeah,
like, they lose me not so much there. Tier 3, like the Guardians, no. The Phillies, okay. you know, they have like they're talking about, like you just said, the
Marlins
Mariners are, like, in there. The Marlins, okay. The Marlins are looking
They
good.
got
The
some good
Marlins,
pitching. So
yeah. Marlins are doing something.
and actually the Marlins offense was really good last week. So I'll give them that.
I'll give Fangraphs a better week this week than last week. Last week
Yeah, I
was
would
a
say
disaster.
I would say compared to last week, it looks a little better.
It
I would
does.
say.
MLB was better. Yours was better. They're still holding on to some of these teams for dear life, and it's like it's not happening
Yeah.
right now.
They're giving the Marlins a 13% chance for the playoffs, the Guardians at 11.4.
13,
So they're
okay.
hanging tough. And these other teams, they're all much higher in the percents.
Yeah.
So but alrighty. Let's move on here. Let's
jump in real quick. We got some super chats that just came through.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Let's
do a couple more. Really quick. We had Brendan DH. Thank you, my friend. You had a couple super chats this past weekend. I really appreciate you. Brendan, here we go. Everyone wants to know where Juan Soto might go, but where will the second tier guys be traded coming up in a few months? So I guess when you're looking at second tier, I would say, Frankie Montez, you got Luis Castillo there. Josh Bell would be in that mix. Maybe Xander Bogaerts, depending on where the Red Sox do for the next few weeks or so. Nathan Eovaldi as well. It's a big what if for those two. Who else am I not thinking of? Montez, Castillo, Josh Bell, maybe Bogaerts.
I think somebody that doesn't get talked about at all, that he got talked about in the offseason before the season started. And I'm interested as a Yankees fan. And there's a couple other teams. I mean, everybody could use a great catcher. What's going on with Wilson Contreras? Are they going to hold on to him? Are they going to move him?
That's another one.
He's a big piece to me as a team that would need a catcher.
Yeah.
This kid's young. This kid is young. This kid
he's like 27, 28.
Yeah, he is a stud. He is healthy. He's had a lot of good seasons where, I mean, catching wise, he's been good. Him, and then the Cubs got a couple interesting guys. The Cubs have Kyle Hendricks. I feel like it's talked about every single year as a cost-friendly starting pitcher who he got roughed up in his last start, but he had a couple of good starts in between. He had almost a complete game, 2 starts earlier. But he's a solid guy, solid starter. Tyler Mahle from Cincinnati. Like, what's going to go on with him?
Yeah, him too. Yep.
Wade Miley, Martin Perez from the Rangers. Martin Perez.
Are you kidding me?
Bobby, you know his numbers, man. You've seen his numbers.
Yeah, I was talking about him last night on the Power Rankings. I'm like, are you kidding me? He threw a shutout against the Astros. It's like,
he's come out of nowhere. So
why couldn't we get this last year in the postseason? Like, my goodness. Like, where the heck was this? He's always been more of a first half kind of a guy. So let's see what he can do in the second half.
I think he could be second or third tier, but Wade Miley, another like starter, like these starters that are like these historically guys that can give you 5-6 innings. Those are always guys that can get moved. Kyle Hendricks is a guy who can get moved. Mahle is a guy who could get moved. Jose Quintana, if he's healthy, he's a guy.
Him too.
Moved.
Yep.
Ricky Montez. I think Frankie Montez is like a 1A tier.
Yeah.
Just like those guys are like inning-eating starters.
Yeah.
I think you get moved. And then Wilson Contreras, to me, is a big name that I feel like does not get talked about enough. But it's interesting to see where the Cubs are going to be, what their mindset is on it, because I'll tell you what, if the Yankees are still not doing anything out of the catching position, I know they've turned that into like, hey, we're just cool getting good defense. But one of these guys end up getting hurt. Trevino, Higashioka ends up getting hurt. We already saw the guy that they traded for in Minnesota, Ben Rortvedt. He hasn't seen the field at all. I feel like this year he's played in like a handful of games in the minors as like rehab games. He just got hurt again. I'd be interesting. He, to me, is the position player. I feel like he could get moved and he can make an immediate impact.
Yeah.
And then, again, your Red Sox, what are they going to do? I mean, like, are they going to be in it?
Yeah.
Are they going to be in it at that time? I mean, they're killing it right now, but we'll see. I'm not going to get too much into that because they've had a hell of a week, but
right.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I would say if I were to just to answer the question, where are these guys going to go? I don't know. If I were to make some early predictions right now, I'll go Frankie Montez to the Twins. I think they could probably get a deal done. And they lost Chris Paddock. So will they want to make another trade? I don't know. I could see Montez, maybe, I don't know. Depends on if the Yankees want to get in on it. The White Sox were already rumored to be there, but I don't know if looks like they didn't get a deal done. Well, obviously they didn't get a deal done, but it looks like I don't know, will they be able to come back together? I'll go Montez for the Twins right now. And who knows? Maybe a team like you always see, whenever you think of these guys that are available, you always think of teams that could use that kind of a piece. But then you always see sometimes this team that already has like a good rotation, and then they just want to add to it, right? So, could a team like the Blue Jays make a trade for him? They want to beef up their starting pitching. Well, and, something like that. You know what I mean?
Quick, like somebody that I could think of, I don't want to cut you off here, even though I'm cutting you off. The Mets.
Yeah, and the Mets too. Mets. Right.
Hello. We didn't talk about it so far. I know you talked about it, but Scherzer, 6 to 8 weeks.
The Mets will do something. They'll do. They will do something.
Grab somebody.
Yeah, they will do something. They got Baez last year, but I think because you got to remember too, we had Lindor. He was really struggling, so they really needed a bat. And but I think they know now their offense is fine. They're going to be okay. They need to add depth, and I could see them getting either Montez, Mlb, or Castillo. I feel like Montez, they could get a deal done for him. I wonder if Mlb could end up being the guy, just because I don't know, because you got some good prospects in that system with the Mets. It's not a very deep farm system, but they got some pretty decent guys in the top. So will they want to get rid of some of these guys? I don't know. I can see them wanting to go after Montez or Castillo or Mlb just because they are under control for another season. So I think the Mets definitely absolutely can get involved. So we'll have to wait and see. Josh Bell, he seems to be a good fit with the Blue Jays. They could use another bat. They can put him there at first. They can have him DH too. So I could see Bell. What do you think with those two?
The other, I don't know about Bell to the Blue Jays. I don't know so much of it. I feel like they're going to start rotating some of their guys out. They could probably get him some at bats, but that's Vladdy's position is first. I don't know how much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could have him DH.
First. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to again start using like the DH as a rotational position, like starting to move like Oscar Hernandez to DH and move like Springer to DH and move Vladdy to DH and kind of give some guys some days off. Interesting name that I was going to talk about in the chat, Pinsari 33, Andrew Benintendi, your old outfielder.
Yeah.
He has had a hell of a year. He's another one. Again, I know I'm number one Yankees fan over here, but he's another one where he's interesting. He's had a hell of a year. He's going to be a free agent next year. I'm going to talk about him in a minute with Tom's comment or Tom's super chat, but he's one 100%. They should get traded if they're not going to end up locking him up because he's having a hell of a year and he's going to get you something no matter where you're going to send him, but he's going to get you something right now.
Yeah.
As a position player.
I could see maybe, I don't know where exactly they would put him with Bell. Let me actually pull up their team really quick. I'm thinking, could the Padres maybe use someone like Bell? They could use another bat, but you got Hosmer at first. So, at DH, you have Cano. How has Cano been doing? I haven't really heard anything about him.
Cano was like a no risk move, just like Voit. Like when they traded for Voit, that was a no risk move. They gave up an arm, a young guy who could throw 98 to get Luke Voit. Like Luke Voit's not making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Cano is not making a lot of money. He's still getting paid his full contract by the Mets. So these are like no risk signings to like, hey, what are we doing? Are we gonna start, are we getting something out of these guys or what?
Yeah, and Voit, it's like everyone's like, oh man, fresh start with the Padres. He hasn't been doing anything. He's hitting under 200. He's only got 2 homers. So I don't know. But maybe a team like the Padres can go after Bell. Again, I'm not sure, do Cano and Voit work out there for the DH? I don't know. but I could see a team like that. Any team that's just really looking for some offense, I could see going after Bell. So, but I'll say with Castillo, I do think Castillo ends up getting traded. I know you're not too high on him, but to me, he's going to help a rotation. He'll definitely I would say, be like a Jose Barrios level kind of a guy where he'll go into a rotation and he'll add some stability to it. I don't know. I could see Luis Castillo for a team like the Angels. They've shown interest in him before.
Giants.
Giants. That was the next one I was going to say. Giants could be a good one. Dodgers. Dodgers can go after one of these guys. They have prospects for days. I could see them making a trade for Castillo, and because you're not going to get Bauer back. But Brendan DH, thank you so much. We had another super chat. One more here from Mr. Tom Amiano once again. Josh, this one's for you. If the Yankees can't re-sign Judge, what is your ideal right field scenario? Wait for the Martian, or trade for someone, or wait for free agency?
Yeah. Great question, Tom. I mean, if the Yankees cannot, in a perfect world, they're re-signing Judge. He's not going anywhere. They're signing him. He's going to be the right fielder for the next 8 years.
Right.
8 to 10 years. They're going to give him a big contract. He's earned it. He's at 17 home runs after tonight. He has 2 home runs tonight. What's my ideal right field scenario? What I feel like they would do if they were not able to sign Aaron Judge is, you're seeing it this year. They're giving Stanton a lot more playing time in right field. I feel like worst case scenario, if they don't sign Judge, you're going to see Stanton out in right field a lot next year. The Martian Dominguez is a long way away. I think he's in high A ball right now. He's in Tampa. He hit a home run. He's been getting some good at bats and some hits.
I'd say lately, I think he's been hitting a little better.
But Dominguez is not. He's a couple of years away.
Right.
Trade for somebody potentially. I don't know. I do not think they're going to re-sign Gallo. I think they're going to end up letting Gallo go after this year because he's just not a fit. I think it was a good attempt at a good outfielder move last year. The free agency, if you're going to go after a free agent, again, like I mentioned Benintendi before, Benintendi's a free agent. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening for him. That's why I was saying, if you're going to play Stanton in right field, you move Benintendi in left. If you get rid of Gallo, and then
I think Benintendi would be a really nice fit for the Yankees. The left-handed bat.
Yeah.
I think he would fit really well there. He always hit pretty well at Yankee Stadium. And really quick, before I do forget, I actually just want to share some Jason Dominguez numbers. He's actually been hitting really well in the month of May. Through 17 games, he's hitting .299 with a .382 on base and a .567 slugging. He's got 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. He is striking out a little bit, 25 strikeouts over that time, but he has been hitting a lot better. So, hey, Jason Dominguez, could we see him make some moves this coming year? So
it'll be interesting to see with that. But again, Tom, I hope that's not the case, but that's what I feel like is going to end up happening. If they don't get him, I think you're going to see Stanton right. They're going to end up getting another left fielder. I would say probably a Benintendi type. Yeah. And then you're stuck with Hicks in center field. But fingers crossed, Judge is coming back. He's going to stay. They're going to platoon, Stanton.
He's playing like it. He's playing like it. Tom, thank you so much. So let's move on to the week ahead. Here we go. So let's talk about a few series that we're going to be keeping an eye out for, and then we'll go over our player of the week predictions. And yes, we got to go over last week as well. So let's talk about a few series to keep an eye on. So Josh, I'll let you go first. What are you thinking for this week?
So I think a series to keep an eye on. We just were touching on this team a couple minutes ago. We were touching on both of these teams. Brewers Padres coming up here to play. Brewers and Padres, again, killing it. 2 great records.
Yep.
What is going to end up happening in this series? I like the matchups. Hauser's pitching tonight for Milwaukee. I think Corbin Burns is going to pitch in this series.
Yes. Yeah. Burns
The
is
Brewers.
pitching in this series.
Yeah.
Hauser tonight for the Brewers. And then for the Padres tonight, you got Martinez. I can actually pull up here on Fangraphs really quick. Let me pull up the Brewers first.
That's my top matchup to look up this week.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great matchup. That could be a playoff preview.
Yeah. I mean, you could easily see these two teams in a series in the playoffs going at it. But I love these early season matchups with the teams that are just both doing well. It's nice to see these guys they're both off to great starts. The teams are relatively healthy. You're matching up early in the season while both teams are relatively healthy, and see what ends up happening. I think the Brewers are the better team, so I think the Brewers would be winning the series. But it's an interesting matchup.
Yeah, and Burns versus Snell, and Snell I think just came back recently from I think he started the season pretty late. Yeah, he was on the IL and then he just made his return last week. Gave up 3 runs and 3 2/3. So, but he had 5 strikeouts through that time. But Blake Snell, when he's on top of his game, and Corbin Burns, that's a really good pitching matchup. So, for me, my matchup that I am really excited for is I'm just gonna go with it right away. It's a World Series preview. It's my World Series prediction. We got the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. Jose Berrios, he's looking pretty good right now. Bottom of the 7th right now. He's pitching pretty good. So the Cardinals, they got to run around with 1 out. But as of right now, for the Cardinals, they had Miles Michaelis, another really good start. Still under a 2 ERA. And then Berrios, like we see here, is pitching into the 7th. If we take a look here at the probable matchups, so tonight you have Berrios for game 2. We have Kevin Gausman. And, so it's just a 2-game series. Okay, so Berrios and Gausman. And then for the Cardinals, you had Michaelis. And then going for game 2, I know it's not Wainwright because he just pitched this past weekend. We have Jordan Hicks. Yeah. Actually, I feel like I saw some news about Alex Reyes. I saw something about Alex Reyes today. I didn't fully read on it. So, wow, that's actually really big news. Reyes undergoing shoulder surgery. Oh my God, that's awful. Awful news for Alex Reyes. When this guy is healthy and on top of his game, he's one of the better relievers in the game. So he's got a big fastball. Man, that's tough news for Alex Reyes, man. Hopefully he can come back sometime in the next year. And, you always feel better more with, I remember Tommy John, that used to be like it almost felt like a death sentence. But to me, I would rather get Tommy John surgery these days than have something going on with your shoulder. Because to me, the shoulder, that joint, if you got some issues going on in there, it's never a good sign. But nice little matchup with the Cardinals and the Blue Jays. Both teams have been playing really well. Really like what they've been doing lately. The Blue Jays were kind of slumping there for a little bit, but they had a better week this past week. And the Cardinals putting up a ton of runs against, it's the Pirates, but putting up a ton of runs against the Pirates. Cardinals just looked really good last week. So I like this matchup. It's a short little series, but what do you have next?
No, I love this matchup. That was my number 2 matchup to look at. Number 3 is kind of a tie. I'm going to give you 2 series to look at between the Phillies and the Braves division matchup. I love those division matchups, and a state matchup, Marlins and the Rays. So I like those 2 series. Ooh. It's kind of like my top. That's kind of like a tied series there. Marlins and the Rays, and then Phillies and the Braves.
Yeah, I like that. Let me go to the schedule. Is the Marlins and the Rays tomorrow?
I think that's starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, Lopez and McClanahan. Oh, What a great matchup. Oh, yeah. This is a great pitching matchup right here. 2 of the best pitchers in the game right now.
At Tropicana.
Awesome. Huh?
At Tropicana.
Oh yeah, Tropicana. Wait, man, we might have to drive over here and go watch this. Probably, I don't know. I wonder how many people will go to this game. All Florida game. I would imagine probably not a ton of people. You would think, right? All definitely. Florida matchup. You would think kind of a rivalry. It's the what do you call it? It's like you got the Subway Series with the Mets and the Yankees. What do you call the Rays and the Marlins?
Well, there's
the Sunshine State Series. What do you even call it?
It should be, because there's not one road that's going to match up between the two cities. So
Right. Yeah,
Sunshine
95
State
wouldn't
matchup.
work. So let's just call it the blazing hot state of Florida series. That sounds pretty good to me. But really like this pitching matchup. That's going to be really fun. I can't wait to see that. You could definitely see a pitcher's duel tomorrow. Let me actually pull up here. Let me go to the Rays. So they got McClanahan. I think probably Kluber would be going. No, Kluber's going this weekend against the Yankees, so never mind. So you got McClanahan. Oh, it's just a 2-game series. Okay. So McClanahan and Rasmussen. And then for the Marlins, you got Lopez and they have Rogers. They say he's going on Friday. So I'm guessing a bullpen kind of a game would be here. So either way, that's a great matchup for the first game. And you said the Phillies and the Braves. So Zach Wheeler is pitching for the Phillies tonight. And for game 2, you're going to have Kyle Gibson, Ranger Suarez for the next one, and then back to Aaron Nola on Thursday. So that's a nice long one. We've had a couple of 2-game series here, but here's a nice long 4-game series. And then the Phillies got the Mets next weekend. So those two teams always battling each other hard. And then for the Braves, the Braves, I feel like they might be starting to kind of make some moves a little bit. They looked a little better this past week. They just have not found their stride. So I think they're starting to gel a little bit. We had Marcell Ozuna hit really well last week, so keep an eye out for that. But for the Braves, Tucker Davidson pitching tonight. Then it's going to be Fried, Morton, and then Kyle Wright. So good pitching all the way around. This is a great series. So I like this one a lot. But for me, my next one, and you know what? I'll let you take over for this one. It's the Rays and the Yankees, because you're actually going to, is that game 1 on Friday?
I'm going to game 2 on Friday night at the Trop, heading over there to go see that game. It's I think it is the 27th.
Yeah, 26.
Is that
the
Friday?
25th? Nope. So 20.
No, it's
you going game 1?
I'm going. 27th, I think, is Friday.
Yeah. When are you going? Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Okay, so you're on Friday night. Okay, 6:40. So that's an earlier start time. So that's good. But let's see who the pitching matchup is slated to be. Let's take a look here.
This is the first time. I like this series. This was going to be the next series I was going to talk about here too. It's the first time they're playing. First time it's here. May. In 2 months, they haven't played each other. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
You're just missing
Cortez. I'm going to see Jameson. You're going to
see Jameson Taillon, the ace of the staff.
I love it.
Love it. Just missing Cortez, man. That's brutal.
I know.
And Severino on Saturday. Cancel the tickets. Go Thursday.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Seriously, go sell those tickets right now and go to the Thursday game. Tell work.
I'm sitting right behind home plate, 7 rows deep.
Wow.
So I'm going to be right up there close. I'm going to be yelling at these guys. I love it.
And then for the Rays for Friday night, they have what a pitching matchup. Man, this could be like a game 7 pitching matchup. Jameson Taillon versus Jeffrey Springs. Lots of offense in this game, so you'll be quite entertained. So
can't wait.
But this will be a good series. And like you said, it's the first time all year that these two teams, you would think they probably would have played each other by now. But no, you haven't had one matchup at all with these two teams. So I like it a lot. And I think it's going to be good. I mean, this could definitely be, obviously a playoff preview. Could be maybe a wild card game. Could be, first round matchup. We'll have to wait and see. But these are two really good teams. The Rays are still, they're 5 games back right now, but you can never count the Rays out in this division. They're a good team. The Yankees are playing phenomenal. And speaking of the Yankees, actually, how are they doing right now? They were down 6-4 to the Orioles. Man, it looked like they were on their way to a win. And then who is pitching tonight? Cole?
Yeah.
Ugh. He's looking good lately, too. Oh, is this game over now? Oh, it's over. I'm sorry. Game over. Garrett Cole. Wow, he actually went into the 8th. He gave up 5 runs.
Struck out 11.
Struck out 11. That's kind of like almost like that's like an MLB The Show kind of a start. Where like you don't see a guy go deep into the game when he's given up 5 runs and 7 hits. How many pitches did he throw? 110. So he had a good pitch count. So they were probably trying to give the bullpen a bit of a rest.
Yeah.
So they were really counting on him tonight. But Lyles, man, for the Orioles, he has been pitching really well. I mean, not like he's not amazing by any means, but this is a guy, he had an ERA in the 5s last year, and he's been pitching pretty solid. I could see him, Jordan Lyles, being a trade candidate. Look out for him. So, but Yankees with the loss, and hey, that's just more of a gain for the Red Sox to climb back into that division. You gotta love it. And hey, if the Orioles can take care of business, and you got the Rays, Yankees, and the Rays get a sweep, that division could look a lot different next week. So
I'm saying it's a big week for them with a couple injuries, with guys on the COVID IL, and it'll be interesting to see what's going to go on this week. The Yankees now have lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
I think first time all year. If not, then they lost.
It's definitely
first
only
time
like
all year. I think they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, I think that's the first time. But hey, Judge had a great game. He's got over an 1,100 OPS right now, hitting 325. This guy's out of his mind. So,
speaking of Judge, are we going to go into Players of the Week?
Let's go into the Players of the Week, shall we? But before
real quick, last series I want to touch on.
Okay. I thought we were done. What's another one you have?
No, just real quick. We don't have to touch on this too long, but this is your team, man. This is the battle of the Sox. Red Sox versus White Sox.
And they just played each other recently.
Yeah.
And the White Sox made them look pretty bad. So, but the Red Sox, they're looking like a different team right now. And I could see the Red Sox being really motivated for this series. When does this start? I think this actually, starts tomorrow. So this is going to be a big one for the Red Sox. And Pivetta, this is actually quite a good pitching matchup just because of how these two guys have been pitching lately. Cease has been striking out everyone. Look at the 67 strikeouts right now. Pivetta, he's been pitching way better. Just had a complete game against the Astros in his last time out. So this is actually a very good pitching matchup just because of how they've been doing recently. The Red Sox offense, they had the best offense in the game last week. The White Sox, they've been kind of doing a bit of everything. Michael Kopech looked really good against the Yankees yesterday.
Yep.
They've been pitching well. They've been scoring runs. So this is going to be I agree with you, not just because I am a Red Sox fan, but this is just a good matchup because both teams have been playing better lately. So, and I think the Red Sox, they're going to be motivated. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder coming into this one. So they're going to get right back down to business. For game 2, we will have good old Rich Hill and Lucas Giolito. I love it. The old timer against one of the young guns in the game. So gotta love that matchup. And then for game 3, we got Michael Wacha, and then to be determined for the White Sox. And I think it is just a 3-game series. And the Red Sox will be back at home to play the Orioles. And then the White Sox will end up playing, looks like they have the day off on the 27th. So, and then they'll be back to playing this weekend. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. Obviously the Red Sox have been playing great baseball. I really do want them to just obviously keep it going. Hopefully this White Sox team, they won't be too much of a problem. So let's get into our Players of the Week predictions. So before we do go over our predictions for the week of who we think will be the best pitcher of the week and the best position player, we got to go over last week's pick. And it looks like once again, we have split. I think we split that's like the 3rd or 4th straight week now. So you're always winning one and I'm always winning one. So overall, this puts the scoreboard 5-3. So, but let's go over it. Last week, I went with Shane McClanahan and you went with Nestor Cortez. So sharing the screen. Here we go. So with McClanahan, he pitched against Detroit, 7 innings, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. He had a game score of 70 while Nestor Cortez, he did pitch pretty well, but only had a game score of 48. So I notched the win in the pitching department. However, when it came to Giancarlo Stanton, this guy was out of his mind. He had a 0.4 Fangraph WAR, hit 333, 481, 524 on the week. And I went with Freddie Freeman. Didn't have a bad week necessarily, but actually, hold on. Let me plug in the dates here. And he didn't have a bad week necessarily, but Stanton beat him out. Freeman hit 323 with a 364 on base and a 452 slugging. So where Stanton came out on top was the slugging and the on-base percentage. So both had good weeks, but Stanton just had the better week. So we each got a point. I won for the pitching this week, and you won with the offense. So let's go over our players of the week for this week. I'll let you go first.
I'll give you both of them right off the bat if you want, or if you want me to just give you the hitter.
No, let's go for it. I'll type him in.
Yeah, I know this was not cheating. We talked about this before we started streaming. So my player, because I know we talked about last week, we're not going to pick the same player over and over and over again.
I can't do that.
Different player, every week. But I'm going to go with Aaron Judge, who I might have just won tonight. I mean, he had 2 home runs tonight.
I know.
Aaron Judge as my player of the week. It was going to happen eventually. And then as my pitcher of the week, take a look at his last 2 starts. He had a heck of a start against Toronto, and he obviously almost had that no-hitter against Pittsburgh. But Hunter Green is going to be my pitcher this week for Cincinnati. I like what he's doing the last 2 starts. He is pumping the gas right there. 101 inside, 101 outside. He's looking good. So I'm going to pick Hunter Green for the Reds as my pitcher, Aaron Judge of the Yankees as my hitter.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, Judge, obviously we saw the game that he had tonight, but coming into tonight, hitting 318, a 389 on base, 676 slugging, a 209 WRC plus. If we take a look at his game log going back to this past week, I mean, this guy was just getting hits all over the place. He went 5 for 4 against Baltimore on the 17th, went 3 for 4 against the White Sox in the first game of the doubleheader. Had a home run in that game as well. He had 2 home runs back in that 4 for 5 game. He was out of his mind in that game. He's just been hitting incredible lately. So I like the Aaron Judge pick. I mean, I think it's just kind of a no-brainer kind of a pick. And then Hunter Green. Hey, this is my rookie of the year candidate. Those numbers aren't looking too juicy. 5.49 ERA. But he is racking up a lot of strikeouts. 11.5 strikeouts per 9. If we go to his game log, like you said, he has looked really good. The reason that ERA is so high, he got really roughed up against the Brewers in that one game, gave up 8 runs over 2 2/3. So that ERA got really jacked up. But look at the last 2 starts. Pittsburgh, out of his mind, struck out 9 going into the 8th inning. 6 innings against a good Toronto team a couple of days ago. 6 Ks, 6 innings, gave up a home run, but really good. Look at that game log, or the game score against the Pirates there. 79. Very solid. 100 is as high as you can go, or at least I think 100. I think Kerry Wood had the highest game score of all time, that 20 strikeout game. So I think that game score was actually like a 105. I can't remember. But if you don't know what game score is, that's a Bill James kind of a thing. So, but I like the picks. Hunter Green and Aaron Judge. Let me write those down because my potato brain will forget. Okay. And Hunter Green. All right. So you're probably going to win in the offensive department. You know me. I like to kind of just go outside the box. I'm going with Josh Naylor for this week. He's actually been hitting really well. If you take a look, considering the fact he was out for a little while, but before that, he was hitting pretty well. And then he came back yesterday. He went 1 for 4, hit a home run. So I think he's going to get right back on track. If we take a look here, he did see how many pitches. He saw 18 pitches yesterday, but man, he had an exit velocity of 108.1 on that home run. So the expected numbers, yes, I know it was only a game, but you know what? I think he's going to get hot. I think he's going to get back to what he was doing before he went out. And then, so yeah, I got Josh Naylor for my pick this week. I mean, look at his numbers: 21 games, hitting 351, 395 on base, 649 slugging. He's having a really good year for the Guardians. So for my picture, I'm going to go with Zach Eflin on the Phillies. He actually looked pretty good in his start against the Dodgers. He struck out 12 yesterday, gave up two home runs, but he went 7 innings overall. And then before that, he pitched really well against the Padres. He actually had a better game score against the Padres there. He went 6 innings, gave up a run, struck out 5. And but he has looked really good in his last couple of starts and ended up getting the no decision. But got to love that. 12 strikeouts in 7 innings. So those are my picks: Zach Eflin and Josh Naylor. And you're going with Aaron Judge and Hunter Green. So
love it.
But that is the week ahead. We are done, everyone. Any last words from you, Josh, before we get out of here for tonight?
No, it's going to be a good week of baseball. I think this is a week where we may look back next Monday and see a whole nother picture as far as power rankings and a whole different picture as far as like division stats and see where these teams are going. I think the Red Sox can keep it going. They're still 3 games under 500. We may look next Monday and say, well, they have finally broken the 500 barrier, and you're going to see some teams start creeping up. I'm not making excuses for the Yankees. I know we got some comments in the chat here making excuses. I'm just saying what's going on. But it's going to be a good week of baseball. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll come back next week and see what's going on. But I love it.
Yeah. Like you said, it could be a very different week next week. This is how it is. That the first month, you got the energy of opening day, the first couple of games. It's opening day is like, it's one of the most ridiculous things to me because people are like jumping off of bridges if their team loses on opening day, or they're calling for a World Series in game 1. And then it just goes dead after that. Game 2, all the way to what game are we at right now? Like how many games have we even, hold on, let me go to the Yankees.
We are about 44 games in.
Yeah. So like game 2 all the way to like game 30, 35. It's just like dead. But now you're starting to get into June, and it's once those summer days start to come, that's when the energy starts to build up, and you're starting to feel it. And I've been feeling it with the power rankings in the last couple of weeks. Got up to 350 people last night.
Yeah.
The week prior got over 300, and that was and we had a couple of power rankings there where we only had, I think the week before that, I think we only got up to like 100 people or 120. So you're starting to see some fans start coming back, and actually. I want to thank everyone that watched that 2017 Cleveland Indians video that I made. The last time I checked, it was over 30,000 views. And
I want to say something real quick, Robbie.
Yeah,
keep those videos coming, man, because I watched that video twice. As how much I liked it.
No, thank you.
It was a great video. I mean, just a great overview of this team that the 2017 season I know gets a lot of like flack right now because of obviously what we know with the whole Astros situation, but the 2017 season was probably one of my most favorite seasons to watch in the last 10 years. Not just because of the Yankees, but as baseball as a whole that year. There was a lot of great teams. We just came off of that Cleveland Cubs World Series, which was like, what? Like these two teams are in the World Series, Cleveland Indians, Chicago Cubs. I mean, that was an insane season.
Right.
But yeah, that was a great video. So if you haven't gotten a chance to see it, it's well worth it. And I think that's definitely a segment that you should be diving into more often because that was a well-made video.
Yeah, that was awesome, to put that video together. And really quick, just to kind of give an update. Hey, man, it's getting some traffic on there. And but for the view count on that video, it is at almost at 37,000. So man, I appreciate everyone that watched it, and all the new subscribers as well. I got a quite a few new subscribers on the channel because of that video. So thank you to everyone and welcome to the channel as well. I did actually post a poll for the next video that I'm going to be doing. And it looks like we do have a winner. Taking a look here. So I gave you 4 choices. How did the 2001 Seattle Mariners not win at all? Were the 2004 St. Louis Cardinals the unluckiest team ever? Barry Bonds from 2001 to 2004 was stupid. And the top 10 MLB seasons of all time. I will say this. I actually, even though this did not win, the 2001 Seattle Mariners, that will be the next video. And I think I'm going to do this video as well down here, the top 10 seasons of all time. I think you could get a lot of people really discussing that. I think that could end up being a really fun video. You got a couple of seasons that come to mind. 1998 obviously was a really good one. 2001 I think was a really good season just because unfortunately it had the whole 9/11 thing, and that's obviously not a good thing, but the Yankees Diamondbacks World Series that year was amazing. And you had Barry Bonds that year. You just had a lot of good baseball that year. So 2001 was a really good season. There's some other really good ones. And in 2016, when the Cubs won it all, that was a good one. You had a lot of good teams that year. So it would be interesting to kind of go into, what I would think would be the top 10 seasons. I don't know. When you think of a season, Josh, like what seasons do you think of?
When I think of seasons, I mean, I just want to talk real quick.
So
I love the 2001 Seattle Mariner video. I would love to see a 2016 Chicago Cubs video. I think that's an insane season that
did I do that? I think I did a video on them.
On what happened. If you haven't made it already, then
yeah, I did make a 2016 Cubs video. That was back in about like a year ago. I think maybe I'll redo it. So
maybe I saw it. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It was a while ago.
That's one of those ones where that was a great season. I think the wording on that, Barry Bonds from 2001 to 2004 was stupid. He had some of the most insane stats that I've ever seen. I mean, there's stats of him, like if he didn't even go up to the plate with a bat, what his stats would have been, just because of his on base percentage and walk rate and everything else. I mean, like his stats, if he would have went up to the plate, not holding anything in his hands, what his stats would have been are just insane to look at.
Yeah,
but
we had a lot of other ones as well.
I mean, if we're talking about top MLB seasons of all time, 2001 is definitely one of them. 2017 is another one of them. I think those mid 90 years with the Braves are a lot of them. Funny enough, I was just watching about the 86 Mets.
Yeah, the 86 season was good.
Yeah, the Doc and Darryl documentary. If you guys haven't checked that out, such a great 30 for 30. It's on Disney Plus now. If you guys are subscribed to that, but great documentary going over their unfortunate stuff going on with them. But it highlighted the 86 Mets. It was a good season, a great season in baseball, just all around. So,
and 2004, I mean, I know I'm
and stuff
a little
like that.
Biased,
I'm talking about seasons that we were alive for.
Right.
The 98
you had 1969
season,
as well.
The summer of 98, with McGuire, Sosa.
98
Bonds.
would definitely be a top 3. It would have to be. Where I would put it in the top 3, I'm not quite sure. But it would definitely have an argument for number 1 because you could argue that.
What about the ending of the 2011 season with the
the ending of 2011, the crazy finish.
Yeah,
I'm a little biased towards 2004, obviously because of my Red Sox, but that postseason was insane. It wasn't even just the Red Sox, Yankees. You had the Red Sox, with the Angels, walking off there, and then you also had the Astros and the Cardinals. That was an amazing series. You just had really good baseball all around. You had 2009. You had was that the year with the Twins and the White Sox in the one game playoff? Was that 2009? I can't fully remember. Or 2010, one of those years.
Yeah.
There was 2007 with the Red Sox. That not just the Red Sox that year, but that was just a fun season all the way around. 2008 with the Reyes. That was a fun season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, man. I mean, I'd like to go back into the mid, like 1950s, 1960s. I'm sure there's some really good ones. I'm the way I'm going to put that list together is I'm really going to try and look at stats. Like I'm really going to try and look at just, what were some good seasons that from players in those seasons, teams that were really good. 94 would be a good, I mean, maybe 94 could end up being a separate video, what could have ended up happening. I did do a quick little video on the Expos using out of the park baseball, but 94 was fun until the whole thing got cut out. I wouldn't include that on the list, but that could end up being a season I do a separate video on. But I don't know.
A lot of crazy stats in that year too, 1994. I know they were again talking about the Yankees, but they were talking
Frank
about
Thomas,
how that
right?
team really came along, and Paul O'Neill was putting up MVP type numbers that year, and they were talking about it one time in the Yes, in the Yes Network in the booth between him and David Cohn and Kay.
Yeah.
And the fact that like when they got the news, like O'Neill was like, he thought it was some kind of a joke. Obviously, it was completely unexpected. It was just in the middle of the season, like, hey, we're not playing baseball anymore. And it's like, what the heck happened? Like just the fact that the season, we're not playing a World Series this year, the season's ending, and that's it. The strike, like we're so used to the strike right now in the off season and how much that's traumatic, I guess, if you want to say, or like a lot of drama around it.
Right.
Like, can you imagine playing a season and like you're just about to go to the playoffs, just about to go into the World Series, you're just getting going. These teams are like rolling now, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, no more baseball. So
yeah, man,
crazy year.
So, we'll definitely be doing the 2001 Mariners soon. I'll probably wait till I'm just completely in summer vacation to start working on that, and then yeah, honestly, I could do a video on all of these. They would be really fun to do. I think the 2004 St. Louis Cardinals, very underrated team. That team, like I said, unluckiest because they ran into the Red Sox like in that World Series. That was a juggernaut Cardinals team. Extremely good team. Pujols, Scott Rowland, Edmonds. You had a couple of decent pitchers in there, a couple of decent arms in the bullpen. Man. So, but all righty. Well, I'm going to get out of here. It's time for bed. I got to wake up in the morning, go banging and clanging at the gym. Went this morning, and I'm dead tired. So I know you got to work in the morning, but everyone, I want to say thank you for coming out tonight. Appreciate another night of the week ahead. Thank you to everyone that gave a super chat tonight. Tom, Brendan, thank you so much. Everyone else, thank you for putting in the super chats. Really do appreciate that. It really helps support the channel. So, but everyone, I'll be back here Wednesday night for hot takes. So start thinking of some juicy hot takes for me, and maybe you'll make it onto the show. Josh, have yourself a good night, and we'll talk to you next time, everyone.
Good night, guys. Thanks again. Thanks a lot again. Great conversation in the chat, and thanks again for the super chats. Love it. Keep it going. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Yep. See you next Monday, everyone. Bye-bye.